Today I want to show you this full band TV antenna made by Winegard. It has low VHF capability, which is essential for my reception area. This model antenna is the HD7000R, and it's a model of antenna that was made a few years ago by Winegard, but it is still available online. And one thing I like about it is that it has a relatively compact size, and it also has low VHF capability. And this antenna model is a few years old, but it is still available online. But a more updated model made by Winegard would be this one, the YA7000C. Just to remind viewers, low band VHF refers to over-the-air TV channels 2 to 6. And those channels generally require larger elements like the ones on this antenna to be received. Most antennas nowadays are not built for low band VHF reception. They're built for either UHF or UHF and high VHF reception, and they're generally much smaller. But if you have any over-the-air channels in your area on channels 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, then you're probably going to need a larger antenna like this to pull them in reliably. So just to give you a little bit of information about this antenna, the boom, which is like the main frame of the antenna, is about 33 inches long. And while this antenna can be set up as a UHF and high VHF antenna, it also has optional elements for low VHF, which you can see I have installed here. And with those elements on there, that makes the antenna about 100 inches wide. It's rated for about 30 or 40 miles coverage from the broadcast towers. And it has a fairly wide beam width as well, meaning that it can capture signals from two directions about 30 degrees apart, which is good if you have two broadcast towers that are a little bit apart but in the same general direction. And that's sort of the case in my area, where you have a broadcast tower in this direction and then a couple kind of over this way to the northeast. And it also comes with a mount for the mast as well as a 75 ohm transformer, which connects directly to coaxial cable. And just to give you a little bit of background about the channels in my area, I only have 3 over-the-air channels available to receive in my area. 2 local stations and 1 station that is a rebroadcast from Toronto. And the stations in this area are woefully underpowered. They're all on the VHF band, and you really can't receive any of them unless you're using an outdoor antenna in the city, and coverage in the city is kind of sketchy. Parts of the city that are further away from the broadcast towers may not even be able to receive any of the channels, even with an outdoor antenna. I happen to be about probably 7 or 8 miles through the air from the broadcast towers, so I can receive the channels fairly well with an outdoor antenna. With an indoor antenna though, forget it. And that's probably why you don't see a lot of outdoor TV antennas in my city. That and the fact that a lot of people here think you still need to subscribe to cable to get TV. And I have had success with this antenna in other spots in my yard, but right now I just have it mounted to a tripod, and it's only about 7.5 feet off the ground, and it's situated behind my C-band dishes, some trees, there's houses, so I thought this might be a good spot to really give it a good test. And to test the signal strength of these channels, we're using this Ematic digital converter box, and I've done a full review of this on my channel, and I will put a link in the description if you want to check that out. And looking at the signal strength meter of each channel, this is channel 2 in my area, and we're getting a good signal of 70, in the 70s. So that's a good reliable signal. And our next channel is channel 4. And channel 4 in my area tends to be a channel that is a little more hit and miss sometimes. So to get a signal in the mid to high 60s like this is actually really good. It's not pixelating at all. So that's really good. And finally, this is channel 9 here, TV Ontario. and the signal is pretty strong here, touching in the 80s, mid 80s, so that's good. And I have gotten better signal strength off of these channels, placing the antenna in a spot in my yard that's a little more clear of obstructions. But keep in mind that I've only got it about 7.5 feet off the ground and in sort of an awkward location. So if you place this antenna higher up as well as in a good clear spot in your yard, then you should expect probably this or better signal strength in your reception area. But certainly signal strength in the 70s or 80s should be more than adequate for most situations. So to wrap this video up, this is one of only a few antennas on the market today that's capable of low VHF and still maintains a relatively compact size. Other antennas that are probably more equipped for low VHF, in addition to being 8 feet wide with the low VHF elements, can have a boom length of up to 10 or 12 feet. If you're looking for a TV antenna with low VHF capability and you're within 30 to 40 miles of the broadcast towers, and you also need something that's relatively compact in size, then have a look at this one. This is the HD7000R made by Winegard, or its more current model, the YA7000C.